Hey, what's going on guys? Mixuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a Simic ramp deck for Standard 2022. So this has been a pretty controversial deck over the past week or two because a lot of people are debating whether or not it is tier 1. Basically, CGB made a video where he got completely farmed, made a video where he did better, and a lot of people are arguing that it's really good, a lot of people are arguing that it's really bad. So we're going to be playing it today, and I was of the opinion originally that this deck wasn't very strong. I'm not a huge fan of ramp decks, but the more I'm playing it and this specific build in general, the more I'm liking it. I think I have about like a 70% win rate over a 30 or 40 game sample size, which isn't disgustingly large, but it's not like a 5 or 6 game sample size either. Like the deck is performing pretty well for me. So we're going to be playing it for you guys today. We'll get into the list and explain a couple card choices. We have the Dryad. I mean, what can I say? It's a creature that comes down on 1 and ramps you to 4 mana on turn 3. It's a little bit slow, but I really do like this card. Games I have this on 1, I feel I'm in a much better spot than games that I don't. Against aggro, it's a early quote-unquote blocker because it blocks and then cracks itself to ramp, and then ideally you play one of your impactful 4-drops on 4, like the Cultivator or the Chariot, and against something that's less aggressive, Eureka Moment's also really good to have on 4. All in all, huge fan of the Dryad. I would definitely be running 4 copies. Innkeeper is really cool. It's a ramp creature that even when interacted with has successfully ramped you. Like a lot of the time, a Lotus Cobra or a Tangled Florahedron will get removed before they can generate any mana, and Innkeeper doesn't have that problem. Also, the life gain is really nice, but it comes with the downside that it only gets to ramp you 1 time, but I found that worth it in this style of deck. Speaking of mana dorks that can be interacted with Tangled Florahedron, if this was just the front side of the card, or technically backside, the 2 mana 1/1 with tap for a green, we would not be playing it. But because it has the flexibility of being a tapped green land, I think it's earned its spot on turn 2. I do end up casting it a fair amount because, as you can see, we're pretty light on turn 1 and 2 plays. You can count Foretelling Epiphany as a turn 2 play, but aside from that, we don't have all that much going on. So I like the Florahedron. For 3 mana, we have a ton of learn cards. We have the Divide by Zero as a very strong interactive learn card. We generate a ton of mana, as you can imagine, in a ramp deck, so having learn outlets are really good to help us get more value. It's usually not a question of whether we or not we have the mana to cast them, but more of what we need in that specific spot. So Divide helps you interact on your opponent's turn. It also lets you interact on your turn or after something has resolved. Like, we are mostly a tap out deck. We're trying to slam big, powerful 7 mana cards. So afterwards, if your opponent puts something on the board that you need to remove, you can still divide it back to their hand, which is pretty sweet, while also acting as a kind of Aether Gust type card, putting the opponent's card on the stack back into their hand. For the Learn board, to Environmental Sciences, make sure you keep hitting your lands. You'll see me talk about this more in the video. It's a lot easier to generate green mana than it is blue mana. So the Environmental Sciences, along with the Cultivator, are your main ways of fetching islands. Everything else can fetch forests. So I like 2 Environmental Sciences. 1 Teachings to draw some more cards. Really like this. I honestly might bump this up to 2 copies. I fetch it quite often. There's rarely a game that I don't. Just the Gossip is really good. If we're wrapping properly, we're vomiting out our hand really quick. And if we don't draw that many ramp payoffs, then let's say you only draw 1 coma and you've just ramped the whole game, you slam that coma, and then you have Divide by Zero left in your hand. You can interact and then fetch essentially a 3 mana draw 2 or draw 3, depending how fast you vomited out your hand and how slow your opponent has. So a really good card. Basic Conjuration, again, like I said, mana is typically not an issue in this deck. So the fact that it's slow and the fact that it costs 3 mana typically is not that big of a deal. It can also help you find some really powerful cards like Coma or Cyclone Summoner, which can really help you stabilize or close out games. Containment Breach because it's necessary to remove artifacts and enchantments, and 2 Mascot Exhibitions. We have better things to do on 7, but if you really need something to do, you can learn for the Exhibition. Again, thinking of cutting this for a Teachings, I'm not exactly sure, but I would definitely still be running 1. And Field Trip to help us ramp and learn. Really good card. Again, helps us fetch forests. I'm a really big fan of this card the more I play it. Chariot as a tool against aggro and control. Against aggro, it makes 2 cats and the Chariot to actually help block some stuff, help you survive longer. And against control, it's a threat. They have to interact with the cats or they have to interact with the Chariot. Also, combos really well with Alrund's Epiphany, being able to keep crewing this and keep making more cats or more serpents if you have Coma online is pretty sweet. Eureka Moment, just a one of. Slow against aggro, but good against mid-range or control. Helps you ramp, helps you get deeper into the deck. It's a card draw spell that helps further our ramp plan. So I like Eureka Moment. You've seen me run this in a couple of other of my decks. Cultivator, freaking nuts. Comes down, good 3/4 body, helps ramp you. If you play this on 4, or not necessarily turn 4, if you play this with 4 mana, you can get a forest and then play the Dryad. If you play it with 5 mana, you can get like a forest or an island, play one of your 2-drops. The fact that the land enters untapped isn't always relevant, but it can be. Now our ramp top end, Mordenkainen, as a planeswalker that can draw cards or make creatures. Olorun's Epiphany, top end of the format, what can I say? Cyclone Summoner and Coma, 3/3 split because this card's better against control and this card's better against aggro, and I've been facing a fair split, maybe slightly more aggro, but Cyclone Summoner is really embarrassing against control, whereas Coma is still serviceable against aggro, albeit just a little bit slow, but if you're ramping it out, it can be a lot more impactful. So I like this split. I think it's really solid. Mana base, we have 4 Snarls. I'm not sure how I feel about the 4 Snarls just yet. A lot of the time, if you hold 1 basic, you don't get very punished for having the Snarls, but I have had games where I literally draw 3 Snarls and all my mana lands, so that's been pretty awkward. All in all, I think I'm good with this. Maybe dropping 1 or 2 for another island or forest would be okay. Like, if you don't have them, you can just sub out a couple of these for some basics. It's totally fine. One card I wouldn't sub out is Pathway. This card's really good, helps fix your mana, untap dual land. Basics, Hull, and Lair. Lair's cool because you generate a ton of mana, so you can make this thing freaking massive. I think the biggest I've had it is like a 21/21, which is really funny. And Hull is also really good because for 6 mana, you have a 7/7 Ward 3. Anyways, guys, I know I talked a bit more in this video, but I wanted to explain my card choices because there's been a lot of builds of this deck. I did a lot of research before building it. I've played a ton of games, or I say a ton. I've played a fair amount of games, and I've been testing for a little bit. So anyways, guys, if you like the deck, be sure to drop a like on the video. It will be in the description down below as always, and consider subscribing. It motivates you to make more content. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. Let's get into some games. Okay, not a bad hand at all. We have Dryad on 1 into Cultivator on 3, leading into Coma way ahead of schedule. 1 green is fine. We're gonna get a 2nd green with the Dryad. On the play, with the 1-drop is perfect. Not punished for the Lair right now. So everything's feeling pretty good. And we see a snow-covered forest, alright. I am not going to be aggressive into this Blight Blade. We're just going to use the Dryad to save 1 life. Okay, looks like elves. It is elves. I mean, elves can do some cute things, but we just go way over the top. Okay. Forest menu will pop up. Grab our beautiful newly acquired Nyx forests. Take that action. I tend to grab islands with the Cultivator because the Dryad and the Field Trip both get forests, and only Environmental Sciences can actually fetch an island. Oh, that and Cultivator. So that's what we're going for. Yeah, they can poke in for 1 damage with the Blight Blade, that's fine. Alright, 3, 4, 5. We can play another Cultivator. Grab some more green, or blue, sorry. Almost out of islands. And I'm gonna hold open double blue to kind of bluff a counter spell. Now, do I attack here? I don't think so. I think I'm good to just kind of chill. The 3/4 body is really good. Opponents can't activate Faceless Haven just yet. They need another snow source. Herald unites the elves. Okay, so they mill 3 cards, put a elf or Tyvar card from the graveyard onto the battlefield, buff the team, and then put -1/-1 counters, or just... Okay, I'll look at that in a second. No, they just give my creatures -1/-1. Ah, they hit. Okay, they could have totally whiffed on that. Especially because Realm Walker wasn't revealing was revealing a Woodland Chasm. Alright, this is top card of the library. Just attacking with the Blight Blade, that's fine. My turn. So is it Coma time or is it Summoner time? I think it's Summoner time. Any wizards? This is technically a changeling, so it doesn't get bounced by the summoner, which is annoying. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating. It's kind of a reason not to play the summoner. Let's get this land down regardless. Can they beat a coma? I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them. Actually, after the third turn, they'll be able to give it minus a lot. Interesting. Right? So they can attack all and then give my coma -6/-6, thus killing it. I think we do go for the summoner. It's not perfect, but it is a decent tempo play. And I'm going to attack with the cultivators first. If they want to block with their realm walkers, that's perfect. We get to take them out. And if not, we're just pushing in 6 free damage. I'm basically just trying to run out the saga. Everything but the realm walkers go back. Not ideal. They say nice. Yeah, I know. I thought of that, trust me. And now they have to re-vomit out their hand. Oh, sorry. They actually don't get the smaller lord effect because this got bounced back to their hand. Okay, Avenger of Skemfar, or Skemfar Avenger, sorry. They make a 1/1, and are we going to see the Death Toucher come up? We are. Alright. My turn. So, is it coma time? It honestly probably is just coma time. This is like 3 turns away now after they cast it. I think we're good to play coma. And play the Dryad. Also hold back. I'm not trying to trade this into a Death Toucher. We have to be careful. We do not want them to gain that much life. And we're on 8 mana. So double Cultivator will bring us to 10. Sentinel is fine. They need 7 mana to pump their whole team, which can get pretty scary. And they go for Herald. Yeah. 2, 3. And they whiff. Okay, perfect. They get punished for that. Any attacks? Any attacks, opponent, when a non-token elf or berserker dies. Okay, sweet. So my turn. Triple cultivator hand. I think we go like this. We tap the Death Toucher. I'm going to start getting more aggressive here. And we attack with these 3. They have a bunch of value, but we have the more assertive threat in coma. Yeah, and see, keyword here is non-token elf, so they don't draw cards off these 1/1s dying, but it does absorb damage, which is totally fine. And now we want to ramp even harder. Take that action, grab the last island out of the deck. And now is it Chariot time? I'm down for Chariot a turn later. Play the other Cultivator and then just set up for Dryad to get another land. And we still have forests. Once the time comes, we can also start pumping the lair to the sky. Alright. Lord effect on the Saga. Yep. Make everything big. Tyvarkel. Making all of the elves mana sinks. Okay. They have tap add for black. Yeah, okay, that's why they have the little tap symbol in the corner. Okay, let's see how aggressive they want to get. We have a fair amount of blockers. Coma is really good for generating virtually infinite 3/3s. Yeah, and they just hold back. Okay. I continue to ramp. More 3/3s. Infinite 3/3s. These being 3/4s is kind of annoying into these blockers. I want to tap the Blight Blade and attack again. But we can attack with these coils. So we'll go like this. We tap the Black Blade. I think I'm good to start using this next turn. After I empty out my hand, because they'll probably just chump block it. Actually, I think I could force some trades out here. Let's say attack with all. They probably go block, 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 block for free. Or no, they eat both of these and then take 6, which isn't great. It's fine. I can keep running them down off their tokens. And I don't really care that much about Tyvar. If it ultimates, it's scary. But unless it's ultimating, we're not that worried. And if they're chump blocking here, it means they're going to have less elves for the chapter 3 of this. So how many are they going to have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can just make sure 6 elves don't attack. Perfect. All right, third cultivator. We've ramped all right. Another payoff would be kind of nice. We've hit 2 of them. There are 8 more in the deck. Coma generating another 3/3. Warmaster can pump the team. Something I am slightly worried about. I cannot let 6 elves attack. I can let 5 elves attack, but I cannot let 6 elves attack. And Faceless Haven can act as an elf. So we have to be careful there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they can only activate 1 Faceless Haven. Let's see what they got. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 mana here for the Warmaster. This is an interesting game. I feel like I have been ahead, but not by like a disgusting margin. And that's probably why the opponent hasn't scooped a Coma. Alright, so we start by tapping the Warmaster. That is a fair tap. And is that all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I want to tap 2 more elves down? Or am I okay with them taking out like a cultivator or something? I think this is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can actually animate Faceless Haven, but if they put the mana into it, I can respond with Coma. Alright, they go all in. Let's see what they want to minus. They target this coil. Where's this one going? On a cat, I presume. Okay, so we can start like this, use this and this to crew the chariot. Then because they haven't used Tyvar this turn, we can activate, tapping it so they cannot actually activate their Tyvar. Which is pretty sweet. No point in animating this land, it'll be a 2/2. Okay. I'm just gonna hit resolve all there. Oh, they split it out on my cats. I honestly didn't see. Let me know if you guys saw in the comments. Okay. So, how am I blocking? That's a pretty easy block. Happy to trade a coil here. Happy to double block here. Happy to block here. They'll get to draw some cards, but I think that's fine. We're only taking 2. Let's go. Pass the damage. Yeah, they get to draw 3 cards, but I'm honestly really happy with how that went. They're at 8. I have an entire board. Even if I top deck a land, I can make a massive Lair of the Hydra. So we're chilling right now. Oh, in Blood on the Snow. Okay, hold on. Do I have any coils left? I don't. Probably should have made this indestructible. I was not expecting that. Can't even lie. War Master? Yep. Well, that's unfortunate. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 power. So I want 9 and I go here. Shouldn't have tapped Tyvar. I should have given Coma indestructible. How many of you guys would have played around Blood on the Snow? They have to chump block here, essentially using my Lair as a removal spell. And we can play out the Innkeeper. Okay. Now I don't love our spot. Oh boy. Lolth is here.
I will show you what happens when the spiders squash back.
Any... God, my voice. Any top end. Any ramp top end. We've drawn a lot of lands out of the deck.
They will remember our names together.
Okay, that's not terrible. That is not terrible, guys. I think I start with Field Trip. Get one of our last basics out. I think Teachings is worth it here. Just draw 3 cards. Has at least 4... Sorry. Draw 3 cards if an opponent has at least 4 or more cards in hand than you. They're going to have 3 more, which is not 4. So is it just Mascot Exhibition? It could be. It's not the worst. It might just be basic Conjuration. But I don't love that either. I think it's either Teachings or Mascot Exhibition. I'm gonna go with Teachings. Because if I don't hit anything useful here, I can always just pump more mana into my Lair. And we do hit something useful, which is what I was on about the whole time. I'd much rather have Coma online than a Conjuration. And I think I'm good to pass here. What a game this is turning out to be. It's really funny just because we have like double the mana my opponent has. But yeah, I mean, the top of our deck is a lot more bangers, or the potential at more bangers. Even learn cards are good because they give us access to everything here. Scamfar Avenger comes down. They can plus Lolth, and they can make another elf token. Yep. I mean, they have to be careful. They're at 7. This makes them lose life, and this makes them lose life. Sentinel. Okay. So we have 15 lands down. We also have Hull, which is good. I forgot to mention that's also a good draw. Any man land is useful. Good old Death Touch token. Do I take that? Or do I just eat it? I think I'm good to take 2. That's fine. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what we like to see here. Okay. So this is 7 mana, meaning I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How big is Hall versus how big is Lair? 6, 7. I'll have... Hold on. So Lair is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is the... Actually, Lair can be they're about the same size. So let's animate the Hall. Hall is now online. And we send the boys face. This costs 6 mana. The other one would have costed 2 more to even have it as a 7/7. Are they going to take 6 here? There's no way. They have to chump. Block, block, block. Okay, sounds good. I mean, it was about time that we hit an all-runs epiphany. We're about like half the deck and we do run 4 of them. That's fine. Alright, opponent falls to 6. We hit the beastly card that is all-runs epiphany. And that's game. Like, they don't live this. Second coma. We tap the Sentinel. And then we make massive Lair. I was just going to pump all my mana into the Lair and kill them. We could have also tapped this and just attacked. In any case, we absolutely farmed out that deck. But that Blood on the Snow was very scary. I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting that in a creature deck. Okay, oh, what a sweet hand. We have the Dryad on 1, this on 3. We can ramp it on 2. Interaction, that will eventually get us a awesome learn card, or lesson card. This is really a good hand. And the opponent mulligans, and we're on the play. All we really need to do is survive, draw a couple lands and some top end, and believe me, the deck can and should be able to do that. So, Dryad on 1. I swear, games with this on 1 feel so much more powerful than games without it on 1. Okay. Opponent's ready to go. I'm going to put this on blue to hold this for any potential future snarls. That's fine, no attacks. I could have tested them to see if they were going to block, but I don't think they would have. That actually might have been a decent play. And then played the Innkeeper if they had blocked. They do this in response, that's fine. Yep, they grab Forest. I grab a Laggier Forest. They're on Snow, I'm not. We can put this on blue again. I'm holding this. They know I have it. It's totally fine. We cultivate. And we can grab the islands. Same as last time. I like to get those out of my deck first. Opponent has a cultivator of their own. I want to hold Divide by 0 up when they have about 7 mana or 6 mana with a Foretold card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So we want to go Snarl into Innkeeper plus Foretell Allrun's Epiphany. And that means, worst case scenario, I can crack a treasure to use Divide by 0. They play Gretchen Titchwillow. Okay. Interesting. I know what this does because of drafts. It's a really good card in that format. In the draft format, that is. Is it time to use this? I think so. Really good here. where they can just sit on 4 mana. They divide that back to my hand, no surprise there. But at least that means they don't get to activate Gretchen, which is why I slammed a Epiphany when I did. They fetch basic Conjuration. Do I foretell here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. I'm not sure. It's actually kind of hard. How much do I value this treasure? I'm going to foretell. Well, I mean, we save 1 mana here. It's fine. At least they're not getting ahead with Gretchen. God, I'm scared of this card in drafts. I'm usually not scared of it in constructed. But where I'm running low on resources, and they have a mana sink like that, oh my god, Graven Lore. Okay, their deck is really greedy. I mean, at least Gretchen can block against aggro for the first, like, couple turns. Interesting card. They also have the Hall of Storm Giants, which they have a man land. I don't. 2 to the top. I don't think they played a land this turn, but I'm not sure. Okay. Play second Innkeeper to get a lot of life off these birds. Play the birds. Sadly, Cultivator doesn't have a good attack either. Mordenkainen, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. Now, do we plus here, or do we minus? Minus makes it 2-2. I'm good to plus. Just find more gas.
Your tiny mind couldn't possibly
Don't think I need that. I'm good holding on to these cards. And we will poke in with the birds. Okay. We've drawn some top end. We have a lot of life gain on the board. We're feeling pretty good. A Cultivator, that's fine. If they fetch Forest and want to Conjuration, that's okay. I'm saving this for more expensive things that we know they will have. They fetch Blue. That's fine. Okay. So, do we try to resolve a Summoner? I don't think so. I kind of like Mordenkainen. Do we plus or minus you? It's really weak to another Summoner, but it's a good way to push in damage, although the plus gets me more cards. Normally when I play control decks, I'm minusing, but what do I need in this spot? It's tough. This is a good blocker. I think I'm good pushing Ultimate, honestly. We have a lot of Alrund's Epiphanies, or at least just pushing deeper into my library. Oh, they just scoop it up. I was good to put back the island, have the Hall online, have a Seeker's Chariot, and hold open Divide by 0. Also keep poking in with the birds. It's an interesting match, but the fact that I have this Mordenkainen online really just swings advantage in my favor because they have to remove it. I have a board of blockers. We're about to get down the Chariot. It's just a good spot to be in, all in all.